welcome back to our video. Today we are back on Madden 23 Ultimate Team for a bit of a different video. I haven't done one of these before, but I'm going to tell you guys how to make the best possible no money spent team in Madden 23. Going over a lot of tips on how to get a bunch of coins. Like, I have almost 1 million coins. I used to have more until I made more upgrades, but how to get a lot of coins, training, all that kind of stuff. So before we get into it, be sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, especially if you want more of these type of videos, because for Madden I can do, like these tip type videos. I already do no money spent, gameplays, new content, all that kind of stuff. And as for the NFL season and news that comes up, obviously we'll do a video on that, weekly game picks, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you're subscribed to nothing but football content on this channel. So for those of you that watched me my first Madden that I did YouTube, which was Madden 21, we were no money spent, and we got to have a pretty solid team. Finished the year with 98 overall, no money spent, didn't spend a single dollar. And we got lucky on some of our upgrades, or some of our pools, sorry. And I'm going to show you guys how you can actually do that as well. Just kind of increase your odds a little bit. And especially this year, obviously, we're off to a good start. So first things first, we're going to get into it. Over here, so obviously for challenges, it's probably pretty self-explanatory. Make sure you always do your challenges for each promo. They might be kind of annoying sometimes. They might take a while, but it really does help you over time. And also do as I say, not as I do, because I haven't done the Legends challenges. I'm not sure why. I just never do them. If you guys want to, though, each release, each week, you just do the challenges. You'll get a token. And once Legends is done, or ever at some point, you will be able to redeem all these for a free Legends player. I think it'll be a random one. Not really sure who it is. I think it's random. It usually is. But again, it's a free Legend player, so you want that as well. But you know, when you spend, that could come in pretty clutch for you. But the biggest thing about doing challenges whenever promos come out is because the quicker you really do your challenges and get players and make upgrades, that can lead to getting other players from that specific promo, which the faster you do that, the more expensive the cards are to sell, because cards are more expensive when the promo first comes out usually. So if you're going to do your challenges, obviously it's usually B and D, so you can't sell that card, but adding that to your team can allow you to replace whatever card you used to have, and from there you can quick sell it or however you want to do it. But that can also help you get upgrades and all that type of stuff. And I don't think it's going to let me look at the field pass, unfortunately, which is a little annoying. We're going to try it, though, and hopefully it's will let me. Of course it won't. I can't get into these to show you guys right now, but for Most Feared and Season 2 and all that kind of stuff, there's always objectives when you go into your field pass. Make sure you do those. That does give you a lot of season XP to get rewards on the season pass, but I can't show you them, unfortunately. But obviously, being no money spent, that's very, very helpful on the way, because you get a fair amount of coins. It's like 10K, I think, each time, maybe 5K. I think it should be 10K now, and packs and all that type of stuff. But the biggest thing you can do starting out is to get training and what to use your training on. So first off, being no money spent, I will say, usually you're going to be, or at least at the very beginning, you're usually going to be a bit of an underdog in a lot of your games. So it does help, honestly, to be a bit better at the game. But if you obviously, if maybe you're just not that good, or you're just playing for fun, don't want to spend money, which is perfectly fine. A way to get good players at the beginning is to not use your training on abilities. And this might sound kind of dumb, but trust me, 'cause I've done this for 2 Maddens, and it's worked out pretty well both times. So what I always do is whenever a Madden drops, I always just do the challenges, do whatever. But every single player I don't need, instead of selling them, I quick sell them. Because at the beginning of the game, training is a bit more expensive and it's harder to get. But at the beginning of the game, there are still challenges, or sorry, not challenges, re-rolls for, like, I think that Justin Jefferson promo, was it like MVP or whatever it was called this year? I can't remember, whatever it's called. It always changes names each year and it's like the same thing. But that promo, if you just say you got a bunch of training, you roll those re-rolls a lot, you can get players that way and then sell them to make coins. And I know that might sound a little bit risky, but if you're playing the game a fair amount, or at least pretty consistently, coins are really not that hard to get, especially if you're playing online. I mean, just play through seasons, and that will be, I don't know, it depends on what division you're in, but it could be a fair amount of coins. So as long as you're saving your coins and getting as much training as you possibly can from the free packs along the way, it can really help you when doing rerolls, because rerolls can help you for, I mean, let's say you open this and get an LTD. Like, yeah, that's great. It's pretty lucky, but that's still going to help you out. Or if you just get solid pools each time, as long as you sell those every time, that really builds up in coins over time. So using the free packs or just players you pull out of whatever and quick selling them, as long as it doesn't take your coins down, to use the train to basically sell to whatever player you get and then convert to coins is really, really helpful. And that's what I've done basically both years, and it's what helped me build up to about 1 million coins. Me personally, earlier this year, I was doing the approach. I can't think of the name of this, with like the superstar MVP, I think is what it used to be called. I'm not sure if it's still called that or not. I'm just blanking on that. But I was doing the re-rolls whenever I had the chance, just doing them, selling to people. And one of the times I actually got lucky and pulled 89 Joe Mixon. And by doing so, I sold him for like 200K at the time. because those cards you need to sell when you pull them, if that makes sense, because the price will go down over time, especially at the beginning of the game. The prices won't hold for too long once legends start coming out and once more players in the following months, like we're at most feared now, where those players will lose value. So if you sell them at the beginning and just, buy still a solid, like let's say I pulled Joe Mixon, I don't need 89 Joe Mixon. He's a lot of coins. So I sell him and I buy like an 84, 85. Someone with really good speed, so he's still similar enough in speed, but I still have a fair amount of coins to save and then spend on a player I might want later on. So I know people will be like, well, that's just gambling with rerolls, but it's really not, because you are, at the very least, you're going to get a player each time. Now, I don't recommend this too much for the most feared ones because the odds seem to be pretty bad in them. Another time this happened to me this year was the campus rerolls. I really took advantage of those, and I was able to pull about 5 or 6 87 overall players and just sell them. I made probably about 300k doing that. I did get pretty lucky, and I did pull 90 Derek Johnson out there, which is sold for like 500k, which has been how I got up to this. I just saved those coins pretty much ever since. But by doing those a lot, there is always a chance you do get like the big pool that like headlines everything. But don't feel like you need that. You can get smaller leads and just sell them each time, and it will add up over time as long as you do that consistent. So hopefully I explained that well. I'm not sure if I did, but hopefully that made sense. I'm not saying to gamble it all away, but use it as a way to just sell and get coins. Even if you get an 82 or an 84 or whatever, just sell them, save those coins, keep playing the game, you get training, maybe try it again if you want, all that kind of stuff, because it really does help over time. And if you're wanting to get good players rather than just build up coins, which you can just spend the coins on players if you want, but if you want to do it a different way, if you continue to do the reroll method or anything like that, you don't have to. But if you go into sets and look at this, like 90 overall Aiden Hutchinson, for example, so you need an 87, 87, 87, 87, 84, and 84. So if you consistently do those rerolls just whenever you get the chance, and you pull an 84 a few times doing that, if you hang on to that, you can redeem him fairly easy at some point, as long as you save your coins and just throw the reroll players in here whenever you get one that actually goes into the set. And you can do that with several different promos. For the lower cards, you can't really do that for like the 92s. Like the odds of you pulling 390s are probably not very high, but for 90s it is very possible if you just kind of throw the players in every time. You'll probably have to buy a couple 87s, but it wouldn't be too hard to get. And so by doing this, a lot of times in like the big sets, I'll come here to a 92 overall, just for an example. So the players you put in, it does say that submitted players will be returned as BND. So if you do want to increase your team overall more, get more players that way, instead of just spending coins and getting a player that's really good, you can do the sets if you happen to just pull a 90, and then you only need to buy 2. Or if you do a set, or however you do it, if you do the set, you will get that player and those 3 players back. So if it's easier for you to complete the set, always do the set, because you will get the players back rather than just buying them off the auction house, when you honestly could get, the 3 players you might be closer to getting, because he is cheaper in that aspect. If you were to have pulled a 90 out of the rerolls and you only need 2 for Derrick Henry, now, 90 still go for a bit of coins. This is assuming you have a lot of coins. But, it'd still be cheaper to throw in just 2 instead of 3. And then in that case, you'd get those 3 players back on your team, and suddenly you have, 3 or 4 upgrades rather than just 1 while buying them off the auction house. So those are a few different strategies as a way to kind of get players, get coins, all that kind of stuff. The training one is the one I recommend the most, because at the beginning of the game, training is hard to get. So if you use it on that, it's easier to get coins. And if you save up your coins, over time training will lessen, and then you can just buy players, get training easier again, and you'll already have a lot of coins. That's what I personally do. If you don't like that, if you think it's too risky or anything like that, there's other strategies as well, like I mentioned, if you're in the set thing, or even just to not do rerolls at all and just do challenges and just play the game and just save your coins up the entire time. That works too. The biggest thing though, and it's really disappointing that I can't get into the field passes, is just always take advantage of free players. Like if there are free players available, and even if you can't play the game, 24/7, at least just try and get close to those players or get those players, because it's a huge help. Even if they're not the best card in the game, you always want to take advantage of the free players you get being no money spent. That's what I did earlier this year. I got the 87 Tim Tebow, and I did not like him at all. But being no money spent, it didn't make any sense to just buy an 87 quarterback for coins when I had a free 87 that just maybe wasn't like as good. So make sure, and once again, I wish I could get into this and show you guys, and make sure you're always doing this, the field pass or level pass or however this ever progresses throughout Madden and future games. Always make sure you go after the free players, because it's a huge help to your team, And you can really build around those free guys. I mean, if there's a free receiver you want, you get him, or a free running back, and you just want to run the ball every play, then, go ahead. As long as you get the free players, it helps out your team a lot over time. And a lot of times, being no money spent, you have to kind of play the long game as far as saving your coins and stuff for the right player, or getting the lower players that might not be the best overall, but be really, really solid as far as maybe speed goes, if they're like a running back or receiver, or maybe really good coverages or something like that for a corner. You always want to find those lower overall guys rather than buying like the biggest, best new card with all your coins, by just getting the pretty good guys that aren't super high overall, and that way you still have some coins. Because it's way easier to always have coins in case a limited time training pack comes in, like it just happened for most of the year. There was like one training pack, or one pack with training you could do, and it was only like 1,000 something training. Like if you have the coins, then you just buy someone, quick sell, and buy the pack, and it's easy. Maybe you'll get a big pull out there, maybe you won't, but it's always better to have a lot of coins than a little coins. As dumb as that sounds, I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. So saving and playing the long game, no money spin, is also very, very important. But guys, that is going to do it for the video. And honestly, just to sum everything up, always take advantage of free things, whether it's challenges or players or whatever it is. Always take advantage of that being no money spin. It helps you out a lot. And if you don't want to do the reroll thing I was talking about or anything, just always make sure you get after those free players, because they really help your team. And yeah, they're really essential. If you don't want to spend coins on actual players, getting those free guys is just really essential for being no money spent. So always make sure you're taking advantage of free stuff. And when you can, I do recommend doing a couple of re-rolls, just selling whoever you get, getting some solid coins, just saving that back up to make upgrades in the future. So if any of these suggestions did help you out, let me know down below. Leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. If you have your own strategies you want to tell me or tell anybody else, comment that down below as well. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.